Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the You Thrive Every Day show. And we're excited. We're super excited. We have a special guest. Dun, dun, dun. One of our wait. She is she is everything. Okay, let's start there. But she is a part of the You Thrive tribe. You know what I'm saying? We in a building. You know what I mean? The superheroes and stuff. We just be superheroing. Okay. Mommy's got three babies, and so she's really superheroing. So I would like to bring to this platform Miss Sha Mira.
Peace, 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 peace. What's up, family? How are you guys? Thank you, AP, for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
We're excited to have you here. Okay, and I call her Sha. So if y'all hear me saying God is Sha, that's what I call her. But she is the mirror though, honey. She is the mirror and she is everybody's home girl. We love Sha. Okay. Okay. So Sha, tell us where you from, where you grew up at. We'll start from there.
Okay, okay. I'm from Philly. Yes, 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 yes. Born and raised. But I'm really from the South. Like internally, I've always gravitated. My family is from Georgia. But yes, I'm born and raised in Philly with a little Southern foundation.
I love. So were you raised in the house with both of your parents?
I was actually raised by my mother. Yep. My father was in and out, just to keep it authentic. Alcohol abuse is real. So he was not stable in the household. So mom's like, nope, you gotta go. So it was just me and my mom. That's my ace boom boom. Like she's been there, you know.
So you had siblings?
Nope, only child. Literally, my parents are selfish as shit. And they had no other children. I was all they needed. Like, what? Look at me.
Oh, that was the aunt you were talking about. I'm like, I thought that no, but I never heard you talk about no siblings.
Yep, no, that's
Mhm.
it. I know. I have a really, really small family. My grandparents had four children and they all had one kid. Like, so it's just us and all my cousins had one or two children. I'm the only person that had three. Yeah, that triangle is real. But it's really small.
That's interesting. Okay, so because when it's a lot of children, sometimes, fortunately, it'll keep you out of trouble. Unfortunately, it's like it's nobody really peeping, in your
Ex-
business. When it's a lot of shit, everybody
Exactly.
in your business, and it's some shit like you like, damn, I can't this one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
so, what was that like? Were you like super explorative like that? What was popping, honey?
Um, Being that we're so small, it's like everybody raised me. So, half of my family, like my two aunts were down south. So I didn't even grow up with my closest cousin. So I wound up growing up with my older cousins. Hence the reason why I have such an older, facade about me because I was around the old heads. So my big cousin was like my mom. Okay, so she had me scooped up under her. We doing everything. I'm going to school with her. She taking me to practice with her. I'm running around with her. And then my aunt actually, my mom's oldest sister, she kind of, took me under her wing and she got me into like the church and we were doing like a whole bunch of pageants and stuff like that. So I was pretty spoiled with the old heads. I went shopping a lot. Like me, my mom, and my aunts, we went shopping, movies, and stuff like that. So that was pretty much my childhood, rocking out with old people and
Wow.
listening and getting game. Like I learned so much at a young age, just sitting here listening.
Okay, honey. Let's get popping because I'm just put shit out there. Okay.
Put it out there,
It was
both.
like for me, especially growing up, it was like the girls that was kind of raised, you know, um around about around a bunch of women because I was raised around a bunch of women. And number two, around like an older community, they were always the first one. I mean, the first ones at everything, whether it was sneaking out the house, whether it was sex, whether it was drinking, whether it was smoking weed, like they were always the
Mhm.
first. You be like, where you get that from? Girl, look, so,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
they was the plug on everything, whether it was experiences, like actually doing shit or getting shit.
Hey, yep. Yeah. Ah.
Now, when you say that, it's like, where the stories at, boo? 'Cause I know you was out there doing some shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hey, yo, the first joint I do remember is, like I said, I'm gonna keep it authentic. It was for me, like, because around that time, everybody was doing it. You know how popular weed is. Like, who's not fucking smoking weed?
I was smoking weed back
And
then.
that's what I'm saying, yo. You're talking about tripping out, like, yo, it was a basement whole situation. This is what happens when you let your cousins babysit. My mom going out doing what she doing, and like, okay, y'all watch Shamira. Okay, they watched me, all right.
Yeah, that's so
Had me
funny. My
puffing on
first
that
time was
goddamn
in the
L.
basement with my cousins.
Highest fucking shit, right?
Yeah, like I was paranoid as hell. I remember sitting on the curb looking at the street light, like, oh, it looks like the moon. And every car that pulled up, I was like, could it be my mom? Even though I was supposed to be spending the night at my cousin's house, you know what I'm saying? That should have been the last thing on my mind. But I was so paranoid about everything. Everything.
Oh my God. I love that you remember that. I
Oh,
just remember falling up the steps. Like I was like when I say I bust my ass coming out the basement, they had to like sit me down on the couch afterwards. Like, yo, don't yeah. I was done.
and you went to sleep?
Remember what? Yeah, because I thought I was like doing something. You couldn't tell me. I didn't watch y'all smoking up. So I'm hitting the L and I remember hearing them like, yo, no, you hitting it too hard. And I was like,
Um,
it's you
I was
reflective
I was
mirror.
like, I was like, I don't know how to hit it, you know? And so my cousin was like, just, and so I was like, okay. And then so I remember the noise and everything. I was like, and they was like, no, no, you're gonna choke. Like she gonna choke. And
Hmm.
then as soon as they were saying she gonna choke,
Right.
like I feel like I threw up my insides, eyes was watering. Like I think I might have hit that thing twice, and
Huh?
I was,
Yes.
I
Yeah, that was the best L ever. I
was fucked up.
didn't even like smoke again until I was probably like 14. Yeah. Like I chilled. That was a bit much. I wasn't ready.
No, my cousin had all these kids. She was young. She started having babies at like 15 or something. And that's how
Oh
she
shit.
used to pay me when I was 10. She used to pay me in joints.
Really? At 10? Oh, good
She used to roll
shit.
me joints and I used to hide them in my drawer. You know, like I would collect them and shit. Yeah, that's how I used to get paid.
Wow. Yeah, no, they didn't pay me to do shit. Fuck, they had me fucking tutoring kids and I wasn't getting shit. I remember I remember going into my aunt's room and just like stealing her buds from her cigarettes. Like I was just like obsessed with trying to figure out what's the obsession? Like everybody smokes cigarettes too. And I was just like, okay, I didn't experience weed. What's the cigarette thing? And I just be like, and then like hurry up and put it out, but it had like no effect. And I was just like, this is weird.
So interesting. Because I think I was intrigued with cigarettes at like 6, and I would like do the same thing, like steal people's butts. And then I can't remember how I got like a first whole cigarette. But I was so, you're so stupid smart. You know what I mean? When you're
Mhm.
a kid. So I just thought I looked really fucking cool. So I went in the bathroom, closed the door, opened the window, and was sitting like on the sink, like, and I was lightheaded than a motherfucker. Then it came to me to like go get mama's Captain Morgan. I
Oh, you were cutting up. Oh, yes. Go big or go home.
had a whole shot and I just loved it. You know how as a kid, like you swing around in circles all fast and
Yes.
you love that dizzy feeling? I was like, this is what this feels like.
You were tripping out for real.
I mean, it's
My God.
amazing that I wasn't an addict. Like,
That part, yo, that part. I think about that shit too. Yeah, yeah, like seriously.
I had a problem drinking. I didn't have a drinking problem.
Okay, yo, I had the one girlfriend. She had it all. Like her mom, you would have thought she worked at a bar. Like she had the plug, yo. Every time we went to the playground, if I seen that chick with that water bottle, it was on and popping. Like, yeah, I
I
know
needed
that.
my liquor too as a teenager, even as an adult. Like, you want to drink or drive, put it in the
Okay, yes. What? I found the perfect liquor to fucking go on my coffee. Girl, it was over. It was over. That's when I knew I had a problem. I'm like, oh wait, yeah, you're taking this a bit too far. Ain't you at work? Like, wait a minute. Yeah.
So tell me about the boys, because that's usually how this goes. What had happened?
Child, I think my first, so I had a little boyfriend. My first experience was kindergarten. We got it out the way early. Had my little boyfriend. We went on a prom together. We snuck a kiss behind the lockers. Like it was real. Like I thought I was gonna marry that little boy. And Matthew was everything. So that was my first experience. But then, we got older. The boys, I was like one of them girls that really didn't hang around the girls in the neighborhood. I hung with the boys. Like, so I wound up crushing on one of my homeboys, and we used to have bushes in front of everybody's house. Now I'm in a city.
Yeah.
So even though the house is connected, we found some privacy. Girl, you talk about touching all on me. We was playing Catch a Girl, Freak a Girl. I was feeling hot. I was feeling hot. And I got caught and I'm like, oh, and I was hoping, girl, I know nothing about manifestation, but I was hoping the right one would catch me because I had a little thing for him and he caught my ass. And I was hiding behind the bushes and he kissed me and started touching on me. And I got scared when he started going in the other areas. And I was like, oh, wait, I think you was going to go there with it. Like, hold up. So I bitched up. I bitched up. But we still got cool. We did wind up, fucking around a little bit. But I ain't lose my virginity until 13. So yeah, that was with a college dude. I really shouldn't have been fucking with him. Like he had just graduated high school and he peer pressured the shit out of me. I'm like I said, close knit family. I always stayed at my grandparents' house and everybody lived down there. Like that was the hood. Like so me and him was dating and he was like, look, I'm going away to college and we ain't never fucked. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then my girlfriend was like, bitch, he's telling you he's going to cheat on you. Like, he's going to college. It's going to be. I'm like, what? I got to get a coochie up?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I gotta keep my man. Like, what I gotta do? So, like, me and my little immature ass, man, I was like, man, fuck that. Like, come through. Like, I ain't sneaking out the night. You might as well sneak in. Grandparents sleep type shit. Like, come in. He came in and it went down. Like, you're talking about he was grown. He should have known better. Like for real, for real. Like, but he got caught in my room. Pop Pop came in that joint. He caught himself sliding under the bed. I was like, Shamir. Yo, oh my God. Because we was in the hood, guess who found out? The entire hood
Everybody,
found
everybody
out.
talking
Everybody.
about it.
Yes. I'm like, fuck. They like, bitch, was it worth it? Was the dick good? Was it like what? Like, bitch, my pussy swollen. Like, no, and I got in trouble. Like, what was this for?
And like, why do people have sex? This hurts.
Yo, for real. Like nobody told me this shit was gonna hurt. Like, yo, I shouldn't have did it. Like, but yeah, we wound up staying together too after that until I found out he cheated on me when he came back from of course, like me being me, this is my first dude. I'm like, nigga, you go to college. I'm gonna lace you when you come home because I got this thing now. He coming home, I'm like, doing my thing and boom, 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 boom. You know how that shit go. Everything revealed itself. And I was like, what, nigga? Like, that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy.
And two, like to put this out there, right? Because right now it is like a whole conspiracy with these age gaps, and women and when who got with who. Um, and this is hard because I believe maybe I'm like 6 or 7 years older than you. But like when I was growing up, you know, and my grandma was having babies at 12. You know what I'm saying? I mean, having babies.
Right.
Was pregnant every year after that until she was like 17, you know? This was like not out of the norm. It was not. Like it was normal. Like I knew when
Mhm.
I was gonna be, like I was 10 and I can remember like, oh, like I'm gonna give me a 15, 16-year old. He gonna have him a nice Chevy. You know what I'm saying? And then like let's say like the R. Kelly situation. Like I'm from Chicago. Like I was 10. I had R. Kelly's like page and number. Hello, this is Robert Kelly. Like we all had his numbers. It wasn't,
Shit.
like every hood chick that was like 13, 14. You have this 24, 23-year-old man, he clean. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that be your boyfriend.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it was so normal. You know what I mean? Like this was our
Hmm.
so that's a very hard thing I feel like for our collective at this time, for like and look, I don't, the Hollywood shit, I'm only dropping these names because most people know these people.
Right.
That's what makes like the R. Kelly situation, the Jay-Z situation kind of difficult because yeah, they was fucking with 17-year-olds and they was like 27. But I mean, it was our norm at that time.
Exactly.
You know? And
Exactly.
then you have people like irate at some of the fans or the people around, like, how was y'all allowing this go? Like he was married to a whole 15-year-old. And me and Aaliyah are about the same age. So at the time when it was announced that she was married,
Like what? Right.
it
It's the
wasn't
norm.
it wasn't even
Hmm.
nothing weird. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like it was nothing. So I just want to throw that disclaimer out there because some would look like, oh, she was 13, he was about to be 19, like, lock his ass up. And it's like, no, because at that time, like that shit was it was normal.
It
Oh,
really was. Just the thing, like even in my mom's era, like her and my dad are 10 years apart.
mhm.
Like, come on now. Like this has been going on, my neighbor was saying the same thing. Like, what? She was 15. The guy she was dating was like damn near 30.
Yeah.
Like, and this is back in the goddamn 80s. Come on, 70s. So this is really embedded in our culture. And it only became alarming due to the labels that it got. I'm not condoning a lot of the fuckery because, some of these niggas out here is really fucking weird. But is what it is.
No,
It's been here for
it's,
quite some time.
it's a different time. So
Mm-hmm.
the the children coming up at these times are totally fucking different. You know what I mean?
They are.
Because
They
back
are.
in the day, like even our grandmothers and great grandmothers, you know what I'm saying? 12, 13, their maturity level, because they had had so much experience, like raising other
Mm-hmm.
kids, farms, if you was
Yep.
from the city, like you was already really kind of working and everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So a 13-year-old at that time really had a mentality of a 21-year-old.
Have a,
You know what I'm saying? Because they've
yes.
been living that life. Like they really
Exactly.
kind of didn't have no damn childhood.
Nope. Nope at all. Yep.
And 15 back then was like the perfect age to marry, a girl.
Mm-hmm.
It was like get her pregnant,
Yep.
and they had these 10 and 11 babies.
Mm-hmm.
Be married for 30 years. Like this just
Keep
what
that cycle going. Yep.
this is what it was. So now we're in a different time. And I definitely agree with that. Looking at a lot of these children, like 13, 14, they're so childish that like hell no. We still, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, the ones who are not so caught up in the social media, like we really have some 13-year-olds that are like still with the dolls and wanting
Oh
toys,
yeah.
like toy gadgets and you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Yep.
at 13. So fuck yeah, you 25 and you try to push up on that, we gonna have
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah.
You already know, like
Mhm.
it's just not that time anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. We're getting back to our origins and that shit ain't cool. The concept of age is all wrong. Um, that part, like that's a whole nother story, but it really is because we were supposed to been on ages and stages type shit. We talking about when you hit puberty, your ass is fucking grown. Like Islamically and so many other fucking you can get married off, baby, still
Yeah.
to this day with no fucking problem. And it is only due to society and fucking labels and how they wanted the system to work that we see things so distortedly because we operating with so many of these kids that are far developed more than some of their own parents. And we're dumbing them down and trying to just treat them like they're kids and shit like that. When in reality they're not because we are in a different place. These babies is not acting human. They not at all. Like they know this shit ain't right. They will not be like, you're not gonna feed me no dumb shit. I'm hearing and knowing you better treat me accordingly and I'm gonna do what the fuck I need to do. Like,
Okay. And these will be our children.
okay, like, oh my God. Ooh.
Okay. So no, girl. So let me just tell you this on air real quick because this is funny, right? So I was I want to get a few tribal members together and do like these type of shows. But I was like, I want to like, have a regular like where we like pop our shit. You know what I mean? And it still coincides with thriving. You know what I mean? Um, and I'm totally getting this vibe right here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm,
here
mhm.
go a thing. So let's talk about it because you have very profound gifts.
Oh, thank you.
So tell me about the journey of becoming aware of yourself and these gifts. Take me through that journey.
Mm. So my journey really started with me being in the church since I was younger and never really feeling like I belonged there. On my father's side, I was very close with my grandmother, and we used to get up 5 o'clock in the rising to go to church and then be there all goddamn day. And the only thing I could remember and kind of feel like was so important to me was the role that my grandmother constantly played. She was like the head honcho. Everybody ran to her. She cooked in the kitchen. She made sure that all the kids was downstairs in the basement. And we were learning. She made sure that the choirs were doing like she was like running the show. And she seemed to be like my focus. And she instilled that in me. And I went from being in a church with her and kind of like this ain't it and discovering I need to find my way. And my cousins were Muslim. And I was just like, I don't really know what that is. And around like eighth grade, I started to read into all the different religions and stuff like that and see if that was the path for me. And took it. It felt familiar. And that was the gateway to my spirituality, laying the foundation of Islam and a concept of a way of life. I didn't look at it like everybody else looked at it, and I noticed that. Everybody else kept calling it a religion, a religion, a religion. I'm like, but it says it's a way of life. And then, me kind of just realizing the effect that it had on me and how I perceived who I was, what I wear, what I do doesn't really define who I am. How I operate does. And that means how I pour myself into other people. You see me, I'm always helping, helping, helping. And I noticed that's my connection. I need to go deeper. So I went down a rabbit hole and I started to learn about my and the rules of my yacht, and it just took me into a whole different place. Like Anthony Browder became a thing for me, and kind of taking me into the Egyptian aspect. And then I surrendered the whole like I'm not like everybody else. Something's different about me. I got to figure out why the fuck I feel so different from everybody else. So I kind of like shut down, and I was going deep into self. I started learning about chakras and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, yo, this makes sense. Like now this feels like me. And then I started went to school, got my bachelor's for psychology, and I started learning about the mind and all this other stuff. So it took me into subconscious alignment, and I started to align with everything that was spiritual. And then my husband came into the picture, and he kind of like taught me about the Anunnaki, and then we started like blending. And what he knew, I started to learn, and that's where the meditations came into play, and me kind of just like becoming one with myself and realizing that this is a new journey. You're not like everybody else, baby, and you have to act accordingly. You need to figure out who you are. And it was like shadow work immediately. Shadow work started hitting me back to back to back, and I was just like, purging in ways that I never knew was possible. Like it was like once I stepped over that line and figured out I was more spiritual than I was physical, my whole world flipped upside down. And it was like bittersweet. It was like I was a Sour Patch Kid walking around here. That's how life was treating me. And after, like, I heard this saying, your roots have to reach hell before your leaves can, get to heaven. And it stuck with me because in the midst of my chaos, I started to see so much beauty. And it was just like, am I weathering my storm? Like I'm mastering this shit. And that's when everything I kept hearing, like, you're bringing heaven to earth, baby. This is heaven on earth. And it was like up and up from there. Like it was a hell of a journey. And you came into my life like right when I needed you, like needed this whole tribe. And it's been beautiful. See
Don't get me all emotional and shit.
that chin? Yes.
Yo, like I just can't. Yeah, I'm not trying to control it, but I just be like, like when when people speak now, I'm just so in their world, you know. Wow. Okay, so Tell me what you think your gifts are.
Um, definitely, clear cognizance is a real thing.
For those
Like
that
that.
don't know what that is.
So it's like operating in the knowing. So a lot of people read books. I'm not, I used to be that person kind of like when I was doing like research and shit like that. But a lot of my knowledge just comes from within. Like instantaneously, when I desire to need something, it pops up in my head. And I'm like a visual person, like AP just said, like I can see it. So a lot of my information, like it's crazy. You can find them in books, but that's not where I found it. So that's what that is. The clears are fucking everything. That's what I learned first. So clear cognizance is the knowing. Um, what else? I'm empath. I learned, excuse me, I should have said I learned that I was an empath first. That's my foundation. I am a Libra. I am an empath. When I say I feel it all. And that's a lot of fucking energy. That's why I stay in a house because with the feelings comes the visions, and I don't want to be all up in your head. I don't want like it's some things people don't want you to see and feel, and that's a part of being an empath. You can, walk into a room and you can feel the problems. You can feel the beef. Like you can feel the love too, though. Like you can feel it all. So I am an empath. What else? Hell no. I say Mirror is everything everywhere all at once. That's my motherfucking movie. So I'm kind of just learning that those are the powers that I've tapped into that I use on a daily basis that helps me get through life. So
So this empathy thing is a lot, right? How did you how did you come to realize that all of these things and these push and these pulls internally weren't you?
um, during my journey of self-discovery, I started to learn how to listen to yourself and be an observer of your thoughts. And I realized a lot of the thoughts weren't mine. I started to pay attention to my actions. I'm acting like my mama, or that sound like something she would say. And I started to realize that I wasn't operating in full self. I was just operating as the character they created. I had a piece of my mama, a piece of my cousin, piece of my daddy, a piece of like, and everybody was inside of me. And when shit arise, I was only acting accordingly based off of what I had learned. So we are what we learned, but that's not all who we are. So I started to realize that I had a lot more of other people ideologies inside of me than what my own ideology actually was. So that's where that started.
So, how did you gain? This is so important. How did you gain the trust to know that you know?
It's a great question. Um, okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. It wasn't until 2 years ago that that clicked. And that was only because I had yet again went through hell. And I was faced with a decision where all eyes were on me and perception. It was nothing but perceptions in the air. And they were just all over the place. And I could feel how everybody was unbalanced. And the situation that occurred was so detrimental to my family. I was the only one operating in a place that felt like couldn't be shooken. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't fuck what you say. I don't care what you think. I know what I know. Something don't feel right. And when your gut tells you something's not right, you listen to it. And it's that point where I realized there is nothing more important than what my intuition tells me. And once that clicked for me, that meant you can't tell me shit. I know what the fuck I'm talking about because my intuition is source. I am source. So once I knew that, it was just like, I will not be moved. I know what I know. I feel what I feel because I learned the Lemurian way, which was the connection between the heart, the mind, the body, and soul. You put them all together, stop dividing everything. And once I became whole, that's when I knew who I was, which gave me the knowing that I know what I know. So I'm I'm one with my gut. I'm one with my, everything. So that's where the trust came into play. It's you. It's trusting you and knowing you. Everything else falls into place.
That's so difficult because you have so many, and we'll talk to the men because it's easier for women, let's say, to come out the spiritual closet, you know, I feel. It's almost like a given. you know? And so I just feel like there is such a lack of trust. It's like you're fighting against, and the very thing that you fight against, you become. So it's kind of productive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like you're fighting against these thoughts, and then you're confused because why would I be thinking so low of myself? Like, why would I just say that? Or
Right.
why would, and then so those thoughts lead to certain feelings, and then these thoughts are inadequate, and then so the feelings that they led to aren't adequate either. So it's like all this inner confusion. And what would you recommend for someone who is like really trying to decipher the voices in their head? you know and all
Yeah.
the entities that we call emotions,
Mhm.
they are entities. Mhm.
Indeed, they are. They are. Um, Honestly, identifying, allowing is everything. I noticed that I started to pay attention to the steps. The grieving steps, the NA steps, they all the same thing. They are literally very similar to the Mayette steps, but acknowledgement is everything. And allowing yourself to be and listen is so important, especially from a third party. So if you can become an observer of your thoughts with no judgment, they reveal so much to you. That one thought has a strand that goes so deep, but a lot of people keep cutting it off because they don't want to hear it. They be thinking, oh no, I'm tripping or I'm not. No, somebody got something to say and you need to listen because only when you get to the root of the issue can you find the solution. We got so used to wearing all these masks and just piling on so much shit that we have not tapped into the root of a lot of our problems. And sometimes a lot of those thoughts and feelings we have are things that we push down. We bury, we swept underneath the rug or underneath the bed. And we like, I'll deal with it later. Or I ain't about to deal with it at all. but those are entities. Those are like real things that have feelings and they need to be heard. They need to be expressed. And you need to give them grace. Giving yourself grace and allowing your body to communicate with you, allowing your aspects to communicate through you, builds such a relationship that's out of this world. You discover who you truly are and then you harmonize with all of it. No judgment for what? It's you. Those negative thoughts are there, but they are you. And then you say, guess what? We got this. Everything needs reassurance. We come in this world as two. You got two eyes, two eyebrows, two nose, two lips, two ears. We're peers. This whole individual fucking thing that we do, that's not our way of life. Be like, I'm too codependent. Bitch, you born that way. Learn yourself. We are more than just one. We are not singular. We came in as two. And you have to learn all the different aspects and just love them. Love yourself. Judgment is everything. No judgment. And learn how to just be an observer of your thoughts and your feelings. So that way that detachment can happen. Because detachment is everything. We too attached here. But okay, I think I might have answered your question. I don't want to go too far.
That's lit. That's lit. So as you were talking, this might be a different perspective for people to understand about their inner worlds, right? So you're born in this realm that it's one of its major themes is duality, right? And so as you were saying that, it's like some people want to say shadow work. That's cute. You know, me. When shit get too popular, I'm like, I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
So tired of hearing shadow work. I don't know what it is. But let's just say the contrast, that other side of you. There
Mm-hmm.
is constant clarity and constant confusion, right? So what are you doing about your inner confusion? What are you doing about that? What are you doing about your known and unknown? What are you doing about the unknown aspect? What are you doing about that? Like this is all of these things are really describing your inner worlds, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even the books you read, the laws, they have what you were just talking about, the Mayat principles, the Hermetic principles. We'll even take it to the 90 laws of power, whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like everything on your outside, whether it's a book, a movie, these things are all describing the energies that are inside of you. Like you are this complex. And this is why going through a lot of these modalities is super helpful because it's just helping you go on the exploration of your inner universe or your insides, your inner.
Yes. Yes.
And so I just love the way you put that because that's gonna be my new shit. You youngins keep me popping, okay? That's gonna be my new shit. The duality that's inside you. I'm so sick of shadows.
Girl, me too.
Yeah, like how are you gonna deal with the contrast? Deal with the contrast because it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking inevitable.
Yeah, it's no escaping that shit. Because the more you attempt to escape it, the heavier it gets. You're
Oh,
getting further and further away from yourself. So that's the same thing as putting more mask on. You can't run from you. Like, like what?
where you going?
Okay, like where are you going? Your shadow's always going to be there, baby. And then when your shadow winds up having three goddamn heads, and you looking like what? Yeah, this is what happens.
All right, let me write that down. I guess I gotta look up this three-headed being, right? This has
Mm,
been coming up for the last 2 weeks.
really? Ooh, that's interesting. I can't wait to hear about that.
Because oh, I'm talking to Shaw. I can make this shit up. I cannot. Okay, your name. We had a discussion about that's actually how you got the name Shaw, or how when I asked for permission. Um, but that's what came to me was like, look up that name. And then so I was just like, I really love that, and it was like a like a chant, like that. So I'm
Mhm.
seeing like drums and sha 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 sha.
Yeah, I
Like
love it.
the it's oh, I'm high. I'm getting lightheaded right now as we speak.
Wow.
Um, it becomes this thing to like get people in a trance,
Hmm.
on their channel. Oh,
I can see that. I could the being air sign, I can definitely see that. Because when we did that breath work, that 777, yeah, that was I can see that.
I'm like, wrong show, people. I'm just, um, but yeah, it came through so strongly for you. But I guess this is why ask questions is gonna get the answer because I literally just asked that more in depth in my head. But anyway, so when Shaw came up, I looked it up and then I seen associations with the number three. This took me to Hindu. I always look up things in Sanskrit, which always leads to Hindu, which So like the whole journey, somehow. And that's why I need to go look that back up. What is her name? Hecate, Hecate, Hecate. Hecate. I know that's the correct spelling. I just don't know how to pronounce it.
I was gonna say I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hecate. H E
That
C
sounds right.
Hecate. But she's like this three-headed goddess, right? And so that's popping up again.
Wow. How you spell it? How you think?
Hecate.
Mm. Yep, came right up.
And I was doing
Interesting.
someone a reading and this being came through, but they were saying like it was like the negative end of her battery, like uh, like how to decipher this person's energy, look that heck tight up, and then like the negative aspects of her would be that person. And then
Oh,
so
wow.
like maybe that was like 2 weeks ago. And so in the last 2 weeks that showed up, like whether it was three hits, I was just reading something. And I seen a three-headed man. And then in our vortex, somebody else was talking about threes. And then today, like Chief and Caleb popped in with the number threes, and I was like, what the
Mm.
fuck going on? And then like here we go again. Um,
Right, with the three. Oh, God.
me, signs and symbols, I'm like collecting it down.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, let me look this up to see where this will lead me down. Anyway.
That's my favorite number too. That's crazy.
It's
Like,
you.
I had a little confirmation when I was headed downtown. I was attempting to figure out whether this was the right decision I needed to be making. I was like, give me some signs, y'all. And I pulled into a zone 925, 311. That's my birthday. And I was like, with the 311, like, okay, all right, y'all, I got you. With the purple bike going by. So I was like, okay. But yeah, there go that three. Hmm. All right, AP.
Fucking can't help it. And I'm not putting a cap on nothing. This is a year about stretching. So like
Mhm.
I'm just going. Okay. So we had such a good time with you. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, with your essence, with your expression. We are so thankful.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And so we would like to have you back. Of course, of course, of course. And send us out with some closing words. Send us out. Okay.
Ooh. So I'm hearing just be, y'all. Stop overthinking this thing. We got to get out of our minds. We love it dearly, but we've been here for a very long time. Our heart is where we need to be. So find your heart and you'll find your key.
Man. Yeah. 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 I got the keys, keys, keys. Hey. All right, y'all.
I love y'all.
Peace,
Thank
peace, peace.
you.
Peace, love, and
Peace,
bliss. Thank
peace.
y'all for tuning in to another episode of the You Thrive Everyday Show. We got more episodes, more guests popping with y'all. We're gonna start having some real fun with this thing. Like, share. Y'all know I'm bad with this. Do the social media thing. Like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Okay. Peace, love, and bliss. Peace, love, and bliss.